Good morning. Since I can't see you in the classroom today, I'm going to see you online. So I hope you are ready to hear a fun story. Before I start, I just want to make sure your parents know that the story I'm going to read today is going to follow our at-home learning schedule. Today we're talking about animals. And so the story I'm going to read has a story about animals. The story I chose today is right here. The title of our story is Who Has This Tail? Our story is written by Laura Hulbert and illustrated by Eric Brooks. The publisher is Scholastic. So on the front of our story, we can see, it gives us some clues as to what the story is about. In the story, I see the top part of a face of this animal, and I see a big bushy tail. So that gives me a clue that this story is about some animals. And the title is Who Has This Tail? So this story must be about animal tails. So I want you to guess which animal has the tail that we're going to see on our pages today. Who has this tail? This tail looks a little furry. It's very long. Whose tail do you think that is? A spider monkey has this tail. He uses that long tail to grab onto those branches as he's swinging along. Who has this tail? I bet some of you will recognize this tail. I bet you've already shouted it out. This tail has some rattlers on the end of it and some scales right here. A rattlesnake has this tail. A rattlesnake uses its tail to warn its enemies. He shakes it back and forth, and when other animals hear that, they know that they need to stay away. And people too. If you've ever heard that rattle, you would probably want to run the other direction. Who has this tail? I bet some of you, I know some of you are going to have a really good idea of what this animal tail is. A shark has this tail. A shark uses its tail to push itself through the water. Who has this tail? It looks long and looks like fur or long hairs on it. What do you think? A gerbil has this tail. A gerbil uses its tail to balance on its back legs. Look at, he's standing up. He's looking at that little plant. I think he might want to eat it. Who has this tail? I'm guessing that some of you know this one. A horse has this tail. A horse uses its tail to flick away flies. They get those flies, they sit on their horse's back, and that bothers them just like it bothers you and I. And so they're going to use their tail and they're going to flick that fly out of there. Who has this tail? I don't like the look of that tail. It's got this pointy thing on the end of it too. A scorpion has this tail. A scorpion uses its tail to sting its prey. I wouldn't want to be near that. I would go the other way if I saw that. Who has this tail? Some of you might know this one also. It's a pretty distinctive tail. I think that these little spots here look like eyes. Lots and lots of eyes. If I saw that many eyes, I don't know if I would be too sure about getting close to that. A peacock has this tail. A peacock uses its tail to attract a mate. Another peacock. Isn't that pretty? Who has this tail? It's big and bushy and white. That reminds me of what I saw on the front of our book. An Arctic fox has this tail. An Arctic fox uses its tail to stay warm when it sleeps. Who has this tail? Do you notice the scaly look to it? A beaver has this tail. A beaver uses its tail to steer in the water. Helps it to swim, doesn't it? Kind of like flippers. If we're in a pool and we wear flippers, we have our hands to push us through. We also can use flippers to help push us through the water. Okay, now at the end here we see all the tails that we just looked at. Who has these tails? And I think you remember these match up to some of these animals, don't they? Which animal was this one? That's a horse tail. Remember that one? A spider monkey tail. How about that one? A shark tail. This one? A rattlesnake. How about this one? A peacock. This one? A beaver. And this one? A scorpion. This one? A gerbil. And how about this one? An Arctic fox. You guys did great, good memory. And here, if I open this up, it shows all of the animals. We have these tails. Boy, God sure did make all of these animals so unique. And some of these features are very beautiful, and some of them are meant to help them survive out in the wild where they live. So God really had an amazing plan for these animals. Thank you for joining me as I read today. Here's one thing that's on your lesson plan that I really want you to do today. I want you to cut apart your letters, and I want you to go on a safari with your letters. Your parents can help you. You can cut these out if you haven't already, and then you can go hide them or have someone else hide them around the house for you. And then you can go and look for them and see how many you can find. I hope you can find them all so you can use them again. But I want you to keep track. Maybe take a piece of paper and a pencil, and when you find a letter, you write it down. Here's the letter Y. Okay, so I want you to do that for me today, and I hope you have fun with that. Thank you.